Now, let's talk about variables in PHP. What are variables and what are they used for? To store your data, we need to create a variable. To create a variable, we have to start the variable name with $sign, and after that the variable name. Now, to store a value to this variable, we have to give him an equal sign and the value of the variable. To create a variable, there are some rules for creating the name of variables. Let's see what are those rules. What are the rules we have to follow? So the first rule is the variable should start with $sign, and the second rule is that we can have to name the variable using characters like ABC. It should start with ABC. Doesn't matter uppercase or lowercase, but it has to be a like a character, or even you can also give them start the name of variable with underscore. The third rule is that between the name you can also add an numbers, but you cannot start it with that numbers. In the middle of the name or at the end of the name, you can add numbers or underscore as well. And also, there should be no space between variable names. If you give a space, you will get an error. So the name of the variable should be a single word without any spaces between them. And finally, variable names are case sensitive. So if you create two variables with the same name, but with the different case sensitive, one is uppercase and another one is lowercase, it's two variables, not a single variable. Now let's see these things in action and create our own variables in our PHP files. Now that we know what is variable, let's see it in a demo. So let's create a new file and call this variables.php. And in here, let's also go to in the browser and now set our variables folder. Let's type here variables, enter. Okay, I'm inside my variable page now. So first of all, let's start with our PHP opening and closing tags, and let's make it a little bigger. As we said before, to create a variable, we have to start with $sign, and after that the variable name, for example text. Then to give him a value, we will write equal sign and our value, for example hello. Now our variable has been created. To display this variable, we can type echo and variable name with the $sign text. Now if I save it, I see my hello in here. The value of the variable doesn't matter what you type. You don't have to define that data type of that. You can type string, integer, float, boolean, anything you want. For example, in here I wrote string. I can write create another variable number and give it a value of 10. Now to display this, let's type the variable name. Now I got 10 in here. Same, I can type a float number as well. Let's say price is equal to something 19.99, and let's change this to price. I will get 19.99. Even you can set the value as a boolean also. For example, let's say let's call this is active and change it to true. And in here, let's call this is active. I got 1. And if I change it to false, I will not get anything, because in PHP, the false will not display anything. It will just show as a blank. But that if you change it to true, you will see 1. Another thing that we also mentioned is that the case sensitivity of variables. So if I write here age is equal to 20 and create another variable with the same name and give it a different value, these two are not same variables. If I type here age, I will get 20, but if I write it in the small case, I will get 30. Now we have understand how we can create a variable and how we can give it a value. We can change the value also. For example, in here I have text is equal to hello. If I print it out, I get hello. But if I want to change the value of this variable, in here I can type text is equal to new value. Now if I output this, I will get the new value of the text variable. So first it's hello, then we change it to new value, and we got our new value. If I echo it before changing it, so let's type here echo $ text. I will get first hello, then new value. So if I add a break in here, so let's type break to put it in the second line. Now I got hello and I got new value. After the value is changed, you can do same with all these variables. But if you want to create a unchangeable variable, so the value of that variable should not be changed, you can do that also by typing then const, then the identifier or the name of it, for example, version, and let's call it version 1.0. Now, if I echo this, I will get 1.0 in here. So the version I got 1.0. Let's add a break in here. Okay, we got the version 1.0. But if I come here and want to change the value of this constant and make it 2.0, I will get an error. In here I got this error. Let's add my closing tag. I got here parse error, syntax error, unexpected token, and if in the IDE, if I move my mouse here, we got same thing in here, because this version is constant and the value cannot be changed. If I let's remove this, and if you want to change the value, you have to do it manually by just typing it here 2.0 and it will change. But during runtime, you cannot change the value of the constant.